Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto fought Konoha, escaped, and became Dragon Emperor? Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Night had fallen in the village hidden in the leaves, lights were burning all throughout. The Hokage Tower, one of the most well-known landmarks and home to the village leader, lit up the sky. On this very night, in the courtroom, a trial was being held by the civilian half of the council that helped run the day-to-day goings-on in such a large city. In front of them was a boy, infamous around the village, Naruto. The young man seemed to be quite injured. A member of the council stood, making himself known. Naruto Uzumaki, you stand before this council, accused of using excessive force on a comrade. What? Excessive force? Against Sasuke? Said Naruto, who was, in fact, being held on his knees by two chunin. Yes, you greatly injured him while on a simple retrieval mission. Said another member of the civilian council. Why the hell am I on trial? I'm the one with a hole in the chest. Yelled Naruto, who tried to get up, but the chunin wouldn't let him. Another counselor said, watch your tongue, you filthy demon. For hurting Sasuke, we, the Civilian Council of Justice, hereby sentence you to death. You're obviously too dangerous to be allowed to live. Remove the demon from this village right away. We don't want his demonic blood on the sacred ground of Konoha. You bastards. After everything I've done for this forsaken village, this is how I'm thanked. Fine if I do live. Don't ever come to me for help ever again. Yelled Naruto. His outburst was futile as he was too weak to fight back. Later, outside of Konoha's walls, the two chunin guards dragged Naruto to a secluded clearing of the path into the village. This should be far enough. Said one. The chunin as he and other tossed Naruto to the dirt. Naruto cringed in pain since he was still recovering from the fight he had with Sasuke. Yeah, now then let's get this over with. I have a mission to do in the morning. Said the second chunin, as both of them removed a single kunai from their respective pouches. Damn it, Naruto thought to himself as he tried to dredge up any kind idea that could help him right now. As if summoned by his thoughts, a familiar red chakra formed around Naruto's body. Feeling the intense ki coming from the chain teen, the chunin quickly fell into defensive stances. Naruto quickly freed himself from the chains and slashed both chunin with red chakra covering his hands, decapitating both nearly simultaneously. Burn in hell, you. I hope you suffer for everything you've done. Said Naruto as he removed his headband. He took one last look at it. Throwing it on the ground, he stomped the, now accursed, headband. The red chakra helped break it in half. Naruto turned to look at the looming walls of his home. No, not anymore. He wanted nothing to do with this place. His personal hell for the last 13 years. Naruto started to turn away, leaving it behind, then paused. Images of his friends flashed through his mind. Hinata, Choji, Iruka, Hiruzen, Jiji, all of them were there. They'll be better off without me. Naruto mumbled dejectedly. With that, he turned his back and left. 3 days passed since Naruto left the village. Walking so long, without food or drink left him weak, somewhere in the land of lighting. Perhaps leaving when he did may have been a rash decision, but Naruto refused to return. Nearby, a team of 3 were heading back to their home village. They all had headbands with a cloud on them, thus showing that they are Kumo. That was a tough mission. Said Omoi. A young man who was 15 with white hair and a dark skin tone had a lollipop in his mouth, wearing a standard Kumo uniform with a sword on his back. Oh, quit your bitching. Just be glad that it's over and we're heading home, said Karui, a girl who was also 15. She had red hair and a dark tone, the same color as Omoi, and yellow eyes. She too was wearing the standard Kumo uniform with a sword on her back. There was one more member among them, the leader of the team, since she was the only chunin between them. Samui, a girl of 16 with blonde hair, cold blue eyes with the Kumo uniform. she had to modify it a bit, the same for her Kumogakure flak jacket that covers her stomach since, for her age, she had huge. So uncool, was all she said as she kept walking, listening to the two others bicker back and forth again. It was cut short as she noticed something, so she stopped them. Wait, is that a kid? Omoi asked, pointing at who they saw, which was a blonde kid in torn bright orange rags for clothes, who was passed out, clearly exhausted. Samui cautiously approached him to see if he was even alive. As she got closer and she thought he might have been in a fight to the death. She also guessed that he hadn't eaten anything at all, not anything decent anyway. Guys, we will be setting up camp right now. She ordered Omoi and Karui. A bit later, Naruto awoke still feeling exhausted, but upon discovering himself resting on a girl's lap, who seemed older than himself no less, tried to move before she hit him. She said, "Finally up." "That's cool," Naruto said, in a raspy voice. "Hey, are you an angel?" The girl giggled and said, "That's a bit cliché, don't you think?" "Why do you ask?" "For the past 3 days, I felt like I was going through hell and I thought that I was going to die," explained Naruto. At Samui's curious face, Naruto started explaining what happened to him, and once he was done, Samui said, "That's completely uncool. But what are you doing to do now?" "Oh, and I'm Samui by the way. I'm Naruto. And I don't know, I guess I should head somewhere to start over, but not anywhere here in the elemental countries," said Naruto. Samui said, "Maybe somewhere in the far west." "That would be your best bet." Samui really envied the kid in front of her, just a bit. The thought of wandering the world in search of something more than even ninja life can give. That sounded very cool, indeed. That could be the answer, but I would definitely like a traveling companion. I've had enough loneliness throughout my childhood, Naruto said, thinking about the idea. Samui thought about his plight while looking between her headband and her teammates. She had been thinking for a while that, while she loved her team and her home, she needed something more in her life. Maybe this was her golden opportunity. So the decision made, she got up and went over to her teammates who were about to make dinner. "Karui, Omoi, I want you two to tell Lord Raikage something," said Samui with conviction. As both the teens look at her, Omoi said, "Sure, what is it?" "Tell him that my path is no longer in Kumo, I'm going to the west." Having said that, and before both of them could talk her out of it, Samui quickly knocked them out cold. "What are you doing, lady?" asked Naruto, as Samui turned to look at him. "You're going by yourself, and that would be uncool." She gave the reason she was comfortable with him knowing as she placed her left hand on her hip with a smile. "Okay," Naruto said, giving an easy smile. "But one day, you'll tell me the real reason for wanting to come with me." Samui gave a giggle, all the while wondering how he knew there was more to that story. A few days later found these unlikely companions on the far side of Stone Country. In fact, the two teens could see the huge wall that served as the border between the elemental countries and would ever lie beyond for these two. "Wow, that just put the walls of Konoha to shame," said Naruto in awe, and the same went for Samui. She could only say, "So cool." They had been able to see the damn thing for about an hour or so, and they still hadn't reached it. Although, path that they were walking on, opened to a most unexpected sight. A log cabin, kind of out of the way, confused both blondes. Why was there a log cabin on a mountain pass? They wondered what kind of person could be living out here, near the wall that's blocking the way to the far west. Turning to look at Samui, Naruto motioned to the cabin with a shrug, as if to ask what they should do. Samui's look of confusion only made the decision harder. So they went up to the log cabin in order to put their curiosity to rest. It didn't take them long. As Naruto and Samui stood at front of the door, Naruto knocked lightly. They heard a feminine-sounding voice yell, "Coming." The door opened and behind it was a girl who seemed to be about the same age as Naruto. It was a bit of a surprise, because the girl had long black hair that she kept up on the back of her head, with onyx-colored eyes. She was wearing a simple gray shirt and Anbu-style pants, and what's more, her figure seemed way more mature than the two girls he used to know. She looks just like Sasuke, was all Naruto said as he stood in shock. Even more surprising to the two travelers was the look of pure hate that settled on the girl's pretty face. How do you know that name? She growled. That's the name of the bastard. Who shoved a hand covered with lighting through my chest. Twice, exclaimed Naruto. The strange Uchiha girl invited the blonde companions inside and began to serve tea. All the while, she had a furious expression on her face. This girl badgered the two blondes until the entirety of the incident between Naruto and Sasuke came to light. Afterward, she shook her head with a sigh. I can totally believe my damn cousin became such asshole, she sighed. I'm glad my parents came here, those clan head. She spat vehemently. While Samui thinking she was a touch bitter, Naruto on the other hand saw a kindred spirit. Oh, where are my manners? I'm Tatsuki Uchiha. My parents told me, I'm the last female Uchiha alive since, Itachi killed everyone I knew and loved. Said Tatsuki, as if discussing the weather. Well, in a way you should thank him for that, 'cause you wouldn't have seen the light of day. You would have been turned into a breed mare in order bring back your clan, and seeing that you have only this Sasuke person as the last Uchiha male, you most likely be giving birth of your cousin's children. And from what I could tell about this Sasuke, those kids would been nothing but backstabbers. Said Samui. Naruto could see that, as could Tatsuki. Well, that won't happen since I've been banished from that damn clan since I was a little girl. Tatsuki said bitterly. Anyway, it must be nice, she sighed. I had hopes of becoming a kunoichi, But after what happened to my clan and my parents bringing me here. Tatsuki trailed off as Naruto and Samui caught a glimpse of the sadness in her soul. Then come with us. It would be more interesting than just sitting here doing nothing when we could be making a difference in the world. Said Naruto. Tatsuki looked intrigued, but really what had she to lose? Really? Then what are we waiting for? Let's go, said Tatsuki excitedly. And like that, the three got up and headed outside. Tatsuki stopped and looked back at it. Naruto and Samui paused to wait for her. Tatsuki said, just let me say goodbye. She returned to the house and bowed her head. Naruto could just hear her say farewell to her parents. Tatsuki quickly returned to the group as the three headed out of the elemental countries to begin anew. Meanwhile in Konohagakure no Sato, Lady Tsunade of the Sannin, sat inside the very same council room where poor Naruto was, quite unlawfully, sentenced to death only a month prior. Unfortunately, other duties called her from addressing this matter until now. The damn civilians thought they had the right to punish one of her subordinates for such obviously trumped-up charges. Glaring at the gathered members, Tsunade sighed internally, steeling herself for whatever dumbass excuse they came up with. What law says that beating an opponent, one that used an assassination move on a loyal Konoha nin, warranted punishment? Let alone death. We only did what we could to prevent that demon from hurting Sasuke-kun again. He all but killed him. The council cringed at the sound of a particularly sturdy brush was reduced to mere splinters in the Hokage's hands. Once again, he was using assassination techniques against someone who was supposed to be an ally. If anyone deserved death after that battle, it's that brat. He was running away. How her predecessor dealt with these imbeciles, she would never understand. You know what? I hereby disband the civilian council. I will remove the last year's salary, and put it in the repair fund for the village. You will be henceforth barred from all internal dealings of Konoha. Anyone caught trying to stick their nose in official business will be killed, no trial, nothing. You will reap what you've sown. Tsunade growled. With that, Tsunade watched the Anbu remove everyone present. Leave Haruno-san, please. There is something I'd like to discuss with her. Receiving a nod, the Anbu singled Sakura's mom from the bunch and left. What can I do for you, Hokage-sama? This isn't about Sakura-chan, is it? Mebuki Haruno asked with some trepidation at the notion that her little girl might be hurt, or in some kind of trouble. No, nothing of the sort. I wanted to offer you a job. As Hokage, I don't have time to look over everything that requires attention in the village. That was what the civilian council was supposed to do. They didn't. Half the paperwork that we Cage deal with is civilian things that bore us to tears. I want you to find some like-minded people to form a new civilian council, people who will work for the betterment of Konoha, not themselves. Mebuki's eyes grew wide in shock. Her in charge of a better council. She didn't think that she was qualified for something so grand. Why choose someone like me? Surely there must be a better fit for the job. Tsunade sat there for a second. I have two reasons for picking you. Firstly, you have a daughter who is my apprentice, and I doubt that you'd risk her education just to better yourself. 2. I've never had an issue with you trying to undermine my authority. So I trust you to handle this responsibility. Mebuki's face went through a gauntlet of emotions as she listened to the village leader. She finally settled on pride as the praise of Tsunade set in. Right then Mebuki decided to do her damnedest to be worthy of that praise. Tsunade smiled as Mebuki agreed. With that taken care of, Tsunade decided to focus her new spare time toward fixing some other issues that were brought to her attention, to some problems that have been brought to her recently. First and foremost, Kakashi. At the same time in the Raikage's office, he slammed his fists into a wall, his infamous temper rearing its ugly head. And you two just let her go, he roared. Kamui and Omoi forced themselves to remain still as their leader turned a heated glare on them. We apologize, Lord Raikage. She knocked us unconscious as soon as she made her mind up. Omoi felt proud of himself for the lack of tremor in his voice, despite the rolling in his stomach. Useless. Both of you. Snarled. Samui was one of his best chunin he had, and she had the audacity to just up and leave. Annoyance only got worse as his brother, Killer B, decided to open his mouth. Samui felt the need to flee. Why would she ever want to leave the team of the great Killer B? And who would that be, that left with Samui? B rapped poorly, making everyone groan. Why you gotta hate? Y'all better get behind my rhymes before it's too late. He rapped again, making E's eye twitch dangerously. Must you rap every time you speak? E asked as his eye twitched more, and Karui and Omoi wisely decided to move away. Yo bro, for one who's never been called slow, you need to learn to go with the flow. He rapped again, making E get a tick mark on his head. Yo bro, all that time lifting that weight just makes you hate. He rapped again before E activated his lightning armor and punched B out of the tower. E sat in his chair and sighed, idiot. He stated before seeing his broken window and pushed the intercom. Mabui. Get someone to fix my window. He shouted over the intercom before going back to his work, completely missing that Omoi and Karui had run for it. Time skip 6 years later, somewhere in the west. A man wearing a torn outfit that looked singed around the edges, slammed to the ground. As he took his unwitting rest, he caught a good look at the sky. Above him, he saw both an unbelievable and magnificent sight. 3 dragons and 3 phoenixes circled each other high in the sky. He glanced back at his attacker, saying, "Damn you. I will kill you and those 2 bitches for this." His attacker was a 19-year-old blonde man with bandages around his left eye. He wore a black shirt with no sleeves, which showed his muscular frame, and a jacket that belonged to a, now deceased, assassin. Unfortunately, it was badly damaged. The blonde teen retorted, "That ain't gonna happen, Jonathan. Your army is gone, your allies no longer stand with you. As for your hot wife, well, she will be screaming out my name soon enough." The cocky grin he wore looked a touch lecherous. "Why you no good brat," said the now identified Jonathan, who as it turned out was a lord in the West, one of 15, but all of them were gone now, except Jonathan. He stood up, grabbed his personal naginata. He charged toward the blonde teen. However, 2 voices shouted in unison. Fire style. Flaming spear. Lightning style. Lightning strike. As a mix of fire and lighting passed by the blonde teen and hits the Western Lord hard. Why can't they just accept defeat? I will never understand. said a girl who seemed the same age as the blonde teen, who had long black that she kept in a ponytail. She wore a blue kimono that showed her double F cup with a mesh undershirt along with a blue skirt that has a fan symbol on the back with skin-tight pants. Another girl who seemed to be the oldest of the three, who had short blonde hair, she wore a mesh shirt and a black shirt. Her were way bigger than the black-haired girls, at least double the other girl's size. She wore a skirt to show off her legs. I'm with you, none of these lords learned after all, sighed the blonde woman. The astute observer would have noticed that the two beauties had rings on their fingers. Well, to be fair, they have had control over the West and its people that it is until we stepped in and changed everything, said the blonde teen, as the once Lord Jonathan said. That's right. We lived as gods, but you three just had to start a rebellion and, before he could finish, a sword pierced his skull. The blonde teen removed his blade, while saying, that shut him up. Let's head back and tell everyone that the War of the West is finally over. Just like that, all three of them turned toward their base camp. Later at night time, at the base camp, oh gods above, the voice of a woman could only be heard only in a very large tent. The seals surrounding this particular tent blocked every sound within. Naruto stood in shock as he heard everyone the army say that they wanted him to be the new leader of the West since he did a lot for everyone over the past 6 years. They didn't even mind his age. So you guys have no problem of me leading you all? He asked to clarify. Hell no, we don't. Since you're the only one we trust. Not only that, you started the rebellion when no one else would, said one, then another. You were able to bring everyone together to fight against the old lords who had ruling over us with their tyranny. Everyone began shouting in agreement. Behind him stood Tatsuki and Samui. In the background they hear his dragon's roar as the cry of the phoenixes as well for their father. Then let the world tremble in fear of the Dragon Empire, and let them hear our roar, shouted Naruto as everyone cheered. Like that, a new era began in the West, as a new empire arose and everyone would hear them roar. Time skipped 2 years later. Kakashi walking down the street of this new Dragon Empire. He stood holding a orange book called Ika Ika Paradise, but he was not reading it. Right now he was in awe of the greatness of the Dragon Empire, with its highly advanced technology, and all of the buildings for the countless people walking. Just how big was this empire? Well, whatever, he had a mission to complete. I can see why Lady Tsunade wanted this alliance to happen. We need all help we can get. He sighed. I can't believe everything that's happened in past 8 years. Kakashi said as he started walking around asking for directions to the leader of this empire. The Konoha nin sighed again. The reason behind this is of course the actions of the, oh so great, civilian council. When they sentenced Naruto to death, they crossed that damn line. Now word's gotten around and every village that Naruto helped in the past had cut ties with Konoha and refused all advances to rebuild those ties. After that, Lady Tsunade was royally pissed and disbanded the civilian council. Even though they tried to reason with her, she didn't listen and kicked them out. Quite literally. Realizing that he wasn't alone with his thoughts, Kakashi stopped. A group of people came up to him. Choji Akamichi, he was part of entourage for this mission. Next to Choji was Shikamaru Nara, Rock Lee, Neji Hyuga. The next person looked out of place. His outfit certainly gave Chrysides that he was an outcast. The next one was a teen with black hair and onyx eyes. He was wearing a white shirt that was open, revealing his chiseled chest. A blue length of cloth covered him from lower abdomen to mid-thigh, covering part of his black ninja pants, secured by a purple length of rope. He was Sasuke Uchiha, and not far from him, even though he didn't want it to be so, was Sakura Haruno. Behind all of them was Kurenai Yuki, and right now she was angry toward the man next to her. Said man was Asuma Sarutobi, and he's trying to talk to Kurenai but she wouldn't listen. Kurenai, please let me explain, said Asuma. Kurenai finally snapped. There is nothing to explain. It's over between us. So shut up and focus on the damn mission. She yelled as she walked away from him. Everyone else was wondering about the Dragon Empire. I wonder what kind of person this Emperor, is. Said Choji, as Shikamaru said, well, I heard this emperor has dragons and phoenixes as pets, but I'm sure it's just rumors. Answered Shikamaru. I bet he is a coward who hides behind the massive military he has. Said Sakura, as they kept on talking about the things they heard about the emperor. They kept going until they finally reached a massive palace, the home of the emperor, which had stone dragon statues and a flag that had two swords behind a dragon. The swords looked like claymores in front of a red swirl. The doors were big and guarded. There were two people standing as others walked by. Kakashi broke off from the group and approached one of the guards, asking if they could see the emperor. The guard gave a curt, follow and bring your group. Kakashi called them and they set off behind the guard. I should be living here and ruling like only an Uchiha can. Said Sasuke, and Sakura nodded obediently in agreement with him. That's right, Sasuke. She said vapidly, causing everyone to groan. They were very annoyed by that. The group watched as the guard opened another set of doors, appeared to converse with someone on the other side. After turning back to the delegation, he spoke. Wait here as I inform the emperor of your presence. I have to warn you all, you may only look at the women within, do not touch. Having imparted his confusing message, the guard moved inside. Shortly after he disappeared, the doors opened completely and allowed them to enter. The group of Konoha was shocked to see phoenixes on top of 3 thrones. Upon hearing 3 titanic roars in unison, the group realized that an equal number of dragons laid behind them. Then they noticed 10 women in bikinis wandering around and 2 sitting on thrones to the right and left of a larger, empty one between them. Those girls are so lewd. Walking around showing themselves off like that. And those dragons should be put down. Sakura glowered at the filthy women and beasts around. Though, most of her anger was to cover up her feelings of inadequacies. As everyone stared at each of the 10 gorgeous women around them, a voice called, hello there, you must be here to see the emperor, I'm Karina. It's nice to meet you. Said a woman who had short purple hair and blue eyes. She's wearing nothing but a purple bikini that matched her hair, though the top could barely hold her double F cup within. Another woman arrived and said, of course they are Karina, after all he's the emperor and our beloved. She had long red hair and dark green eyes. Is she wearing a black bikini and her are about AG cup? Winking at the group, she said, name's Bakura. Makes sense, and because of that, he gets really busy. My name's Nami, by the way. Said a woman with long orange hair, wearing a green and white bikini as she has I cup size. That's Nico over there. But he's not busy for us though. Nico, Robin said as she starts to laugh a little. She had long black with blue eyes as she had J cup and she seemed a little older than Nami. She wore a white bikini. Alexis was also wearing a light green bikini. I don't know about you girls, but I can't wait see him tonight. Oh, and I'm Alexis. She said with a blush on her face. I'm Graphia, said another woman wearing silver bikini as she has silver hair with her J-cup bouncing. Turning to address Alexis, she said, tell me about it, he was doing me all night long last week, said with a blush on her as well. Nojiko with long light blue hair and tan skin, is she wearing the same one as Nami's but her are double I as she? Oh, don't I know it, I heard you screaming during that night. Name's Nojiko, by the way. Of the 2 lazies laying down over there, Tifa is the one in black and Alvida is in the red number, said Nojiko as she came up behind Graphia and gropes her, making Graphia blush brighter. The 2 girls named waved their arms and grunted in acknowledgement of being addressed. Pointing to the last girl, she said, the kinda shy one is Hina. Tifa, with long brown hair and eyes, is she wearing a black bikini as she has double J and she's just relaxing on her back waiting for her beloved. Alvida, doing the same thing as Tifa as she wearing red with white bikini and she has about double G. Hina, who's a former rear admiral, had long pink hair and dark brown eyes, she wearing pink bikini with double F. And seeing this, Kiba tries to be smooth with them. Hey ladies, how about you swing by my hotel room later for some fun? What do you say? Kiba said. Hey dog boy, I believe the guard said to don't touch and he means it. Our beloved would skin you alive then feed you to one of the dragons, either Pyro, Sapphire, or Bahamut, if you try and touch us. Said Alvida, with the others nodding as the dragon called Pyro moved her head closer to come face to face with Kiba, letting a loud growl at him like she was saying, "Make my day and do it, I dare you." "All right, Pyro, that's enough," said a voice of a man who was coming down the stairs at the back of the hall. His face was covered by the shadows. He wore clothes that the senior members recognized as the garb of an assassin, but all in black and red, and he stood a rough 6'5" in height. "You're the Emperor, I hope," said Kakashi as the masked man moved to sit on the big throne between the two seated women. The girls shout, "Beloved," and surround his throne with Nico, Robin, and Bakura sitting on his lap. He groped their asses, making them purr. "What a pig," Sakura thought. "Why are you forcing them to wear such outfits? You're not an emperor. You're a filthy pervert," she screamed. One of the phoenixes, colored a royal blue, moved and quickly pinned her to the ground with its talons. Said talons were uncomfortably close to her throat. "Easy, Blaze," said the emperor. The royal blue phoenix moved its middle talon, but still pinned the frightened girl. The girls wear what they are comfortable with, and they like to show themselves off. "As troublesome as it is, do you mind if I ask your name?" Shikamaru drawled lazily. This many women had to be a big pain. Samui chuckled. "He is called many things: the sworn savage of slaughter, the god of war, the devastator, the harbinger of death and destruction, and the warlord of devastation, though there is a title that us girls like best." As one, all the girls chorused, "the conqueror." They soon broke into a myriad of giggles, like the sound of wind chimes on a beautiful spring day. "I see, I guess with those titles," said Asuma as he wonders why the emperor is wearing mask. "That is right, and also how rude of mine, I forget to introduce my first two wives," said the emperor. Gesturing to his first wife, Samui, who was wearing a battle kimono with the empire's symbol on her right along with a pair of black pants. Her top was pushed out by her double J cup with a mesh undershirt. She was also showing a lot of cleavage. The guys were looking at her with bedroom eyes, and she is ready to remove their optics by the nerves. "My name is Samui, and if you keep looking at me like that with these uncool eyes, I will feed you to Bahamut, since he just loves eating his meals whole." Obviously, due to the dragon's eager movements, she meant it too. The emperor then gestured to his second wife, Tatsuki. She now had longer hair, the same as her onyx eyes. Wearing something similar to Samui's but gray in color, and she has double H. Oddly, Sasuke felt like he knew her from somewhere. "So, I am finally able to meet the people of village called Konoha. I'm not very impressed," said Tatsuki. The others, "I understand," said Sasuke. "Yes, they're not very impressive, but I'm whole other level since I'm an Uchi." Tatuki interrupted him. "An Uchiha? So what?" she asked disappointedly. "How we could ever be related is beyond me." Tatsuki gave an exasperated mental sigh. Sasuke's right hand twitched, becoming covered in lightning chakra. He raised his arm at Tatsuki, a look of pure malice in his eyes. Naruto snapped his fingers, and two shadow clones of the emperor appeared behind Sasuke with blades ready to kill him. "If you make a move, I kill you," said the one of the emperor's clone as both of them had blades at Sasuke's neck, and the real one turned to Tatsuki and said, "Well, some of them are not impressive, but a few of them have potential. Like the woman with crimson eyes who looks mad as hell at something, or maybe someone," said Naruto. And like that he looked at Graphia and nodded to her. She returned it and moved over to Kurenai and asked her to follow. Kurenai followed this Graphia woman who led her to stand in front of the emperor. "So, tell me, miss." Naruto paused. Kurenai Yuhi." She offered her name to his obvious fishing. "So, tell me, Miss Yuhi. Why do you seem so angry?" Naruto asked. Looking a tad embarrassed, Kurenai informed him that her asshole of ex-boyfriend had cheated on her and she found out last week. "I see. Well, I could tell you this. There's always someone better that you could meet. Just give it time," said Naruto. Kurenai thought that it was very good advice, even if she was getting it from a man who has a lot of women. Kurenai returned to her group as Graphia returned to her spot. The emperor said, "Now then, what does the leader of Konoha want with the Dragon Empire?" asked Naruto. He waited for them to answer while his shadow clones still had Sasuke pinned down. Well, you see, Your Highness. Konoha desperately needs help as we no longer have any allies to call upon and clients don't request us, said Asuma, who began telling the emperor of the woes of his home. Naruto thought about these things as he looked toward the waiting Konoha group. Dragon Empire, throne room. The emperor, still thinking about if Kakashi had told him, "Tell me One Eye, what do I get in return?" said emperor as he asking question Kakashi, and Kakashi takes out a scroll. Our leader Lady Hokage thought of it, so she had gives me this scroll of offer we could give, said Kakashi, who hands out the scroll. Then out of nowhere, a whole arm appeared on the side of Kakashi's arm, which surprised him. What the? Said Kakashi in a shocked tone in his voice, as well everyone else in the Konoha group. Just give the scroll to the hand, said Naruto, who is thinking that this is funny. Oh okay, said Kakashi as he goes of what the emperor says. Since the hands gets the scroll from Kakashi, a row of more arms appeared as the first one passed it to the second, then passed it down until it reaches Naruto's hand. And he says, "Thank you Robin-chan," with Robin smiles. "Oh, you're welcome beloved." As everyone of the Konoha group are wondering how she did that, Naruto opens the scroll and see of what the offer will be. In this alliance would like your army when called for. A marriage contract between Sasuke Uchiha and someone, hopefully an empress. Trade on undisclosed prices. The wife may have dual citizenships. C rank jutsus. Your medical resources and technology. And Sasuke Uchiha becomes the emperor's heir to his throne. Said Naruto, who is not happy at all knowing the elders are trying to pull a fast one. Who the hell do those elders think they are? Shouted Naruto as anger with his dragons responding to their father's anger. The group from Konoha except Sasuke are shocked by the conditions cause Sasuke was the one who asked for those conditions. So the leader of your village takes me for a young fool who has no idea of what I am doing. Well, either this was switched or your leader thinks that we can't rule this empire. Said Naruto as he throws the scroll toward their feet and Kakashi quickly picks it up and reads it. This is not what was discussed with me and the Hokage, your majesty. Please understand the elders are very power hungry and are not going to roar. Pyro, Sapphire and Bahamut cut off Kakashi with roar, which shuts him up. Doesn't matter, Altair, Ezio, take them away, in separate cells, place all 7 men in one cell, said the emperor. You can't do this. That's bullshit, yelled Sakura as Naruto say, can someone shut that pink hair boy up? Hina got up from where she was and went up to Sakura and swung her right arm toward Sakura's mouth and using her powers bound Sakura's mouth shut with an iron bar. Thank you Hina-chan, now take them away, I have a trip go to as it can't be delayed any longer, Bahamut. Said the emperor as the huge one of the three came up to his father. As Altair and Ezio take away the Konoha group toward to the cells while they are trying to reason with them. As the emperor gets on Bahamut's back as the ceiling opens up and it's big enough for Bahamut fly out with his father on his back as they heading toward the island that's full of women called the Amazons. Time skip 2 days later, at the island of the Amazons. Naruto as he is riding on Bahamut's back as they are heading toward Amazon Island as he taking off his jacket, then his mask as he looks a big older now and has a scar on his left eye. He says, damn their elders, I have half a mind to burn them alive but I need keep a cool head since I have a meeting with the leader of the Amazons, right Bahamut? As he sees Bahamut nodding then lets light roar. Then Naruto sees the island of the Amazons. Oh, we are almost there Bahamut. I just hope the meeting goes well, said Naruto with Bahamut flying sooner. It didn't take Bahamut long to arrive at the island, and on the landing spot, Naruto sees a group of women armed with weapons as well having snakes hanging around them and in front of the group. A tall woman with long black with dark brown eyes as she wears a purple dress with Kuja designs on it and purple high heel pumps as the dress hugging her figure very well and the stop is hugging her massive J cup and what's more she's the only one with a huge snake as it's standing next to her. Her name is Boa Hancock, right? Said Naruto, who gets off of Bahamut's back. Then the Amazon woman come up to Naruto with their arrows point at him, but the Bahamut protect Naruto his father from them as he roars loudly at them and it scares them that some back off. Yes, I am Boa Hancock, conqueror. Said Boa Hancock, and Naruto says, good, and also could you tell your warriors to lower their weapons or else Bahamut here will burn them alive and I really don't want that to happen, as he thinking that, she's crazy hot. Very well, conqueror. Warriors, lower your weapons, this male is here to talk, said Boa Hancock as she too doesn't want her people to be burned by the huge dragon. I have to agree with the not burning, but he protects his father. As Naruto said that it shocked them all, the dragon sees the conqueror as his father and one by one the warriors lower their weapons. And like that, Hancock leads Naruto toward the place for them to talk in private, along with a couple Amazons going with them since they have to make sure for anything. At the private room, as Naruto and Hancock walks in with the two Amazon warriors stand guard outside, Naruto sits across Hancock as they begin the meeting. Alright, here's the deal for you, Boa Hancock of the Amazons. I want you and your Amazons to join the Dragon Empire and you can still be the leader of your people, but with a few things though, said Naruto in a serious tone. And they are what? Said Hancock as Naruto says, for one, if I call a meeting with the other leaders, you must also attend. 2. Please don't turn anyone in the Empire to stone since we do need them. 3. When there is a battle you must answer the call, said Naruto as Hancock doesn't know of what to feel about this. Then she tries to use Naruto's lust against him, but it doesn't seem to work, so she says, no, I won't, since you would forgive me because I'm beautiful. Yeah, and I have a dragon that can burn down this entire island. Don't play games with me, Hancock, said Naruto with a serious look. After hearing that, Hancock is in shock about this as she says, wait. Don't burn down my home. I will do those things. When you call for me, I will come. And I would even do anything else if you wish. Without realizing of what she just said. Oh, how about a contest then? Said Naruto, and Hancock asked, see, contest? Contest of what? Was she wondering why the conqueror would suggested a contest? What Hancock doesn't know that Naruto had placed a seal on the room when he walked in. What kind is it? Naruto had placed a silencing seal, meaning any sound would not been heard by anyone at all. A contest of endurance, said Naruto, and Boa Hancock looked a little confused, but she accepted with a nod of her head, and Naruto smiles, and let make it a bit more interesting, let's make it an endurance of, and I will leave couple of bets, said Naruto with Hancock shock about this. Fine. I accept. Here are my bets. If I win, which I will, you and your empire will me and the Amazon Lily alone and never come back. Said Hancock as she thinking she should have back off. Naruto nods, but if I win, you will join the empire and you plus another Amazon become my women and mine alone, said Naruto. And just like that, both of them agreed to this and start removing their clothes. 3 days later, Naruto is he riding on Bahamut's back as they arriving at Empires as the roof opening in order for Bahamut land inside the throne room. Meanwhile, with Konoha group in the holding cell. It's been 6 days of hell for the Konoha group, as Kakashi says in a tired voice, damn elders, I can't believe they did this behind Tsunade's back. Because of them, we in here, while he's in fact very pissed off. It's unfair as, why does that guy have that many insane hot chicks all to himself? Said Kiba, who is pissed off about that as everyone but Sasuke and Sakura look at him as they thinking that he's an idiot, even the large white fur dog. As Kurenai says, it wasn't that bad for me, but though, as she starts thinking, why is he being so nice to me? As well giving me a cell by myself, as she keeps wondering why. And Sakura is thinking, that pervert should not be in charge and his monsters should be put down, as she is trying to get off the iron bar from her mouth, as Lee say, Sai, you know what? I bet things would be different if Naruto was with us. Why are you bring up that loser? You don't need some worthless orphan. All you need is me. Uchiha Itail, said Sasuke as Neji shouted out. Will you just shut up, Uchiha? We don't want to hear anything from you since you're the main cause of Naruto's death. Plus you are an orphan as well. As veins form around his eyes as it shows of how angry he is. He is right, Sasuke. Cause it was Naruto who was able to get an alliance with Koyuki, not you, said Kakashi, who half in mind to knock him out in order save them from a massive headache. Then asks Kurenai, you okay over there, Kurenai? Asked Kakashi. And before she could say anything, Asuma cuts in, of course she not. She's alone in cell with who knows what. Said Asuma as Kurenai sighs angry as she says, I'm by myself in this cell. There's no one else. Well, I get warm meals and a comfy bed to sleep on, don't know why though. Making Sasuke and Sakura very angry. They should be in that cell. Though they don't know that the Emperor is repaying the kindness that she showed him as a kid. What a drag if you ask me, said Shikamaru, who's sitting down at the corner of the cell with Choji next to him. What do you mean, Shikamaru? Asked Choji. Well, I can't help that the Emperor is going to have us all killed when he returns from whatever he went, said Shikamaru. Maybe he will send us back to Konoha instead with a message for the elders. Said Kurenai, maybe, but I just don't really know since I don't know enough about this Emperor guy, said Shikamaru, who has his hand on his head. As everyone hopes that they won't be killed. At the palace hot pool. At this pool is it full of women of Naruto's harem, with Nami, Robin, Karina, Bakura, Alexis, Graphia, Nojiko, Tifa, Alvita and Hina as they're at the palace, and it's extremely huge, more than normal pools, and they are not alone. The first one is a woman with long silver wavy hair as she has light dark blue eyes as she has double H it being held by light purple bikini. Her name is Mirajan Strauss. Our beloved Naruto-kun is returning today, right? Said Mirajan. Other woman with green hair as she has yellow bikini as the top is holding her double eye as she is sitting on the edge of the pool. I can't wait for these two telling him the good news, said the green-haired woman who named as Brandish. A woman with red hair as it reaches to her neck is she wearing of what she called legendary bikini as the top is barely holding her double H. Her name is Urza as she says as she eating a piece of cheesecake by a small table. I can't wait myself, said Urza. As couple of women are near each other. One is older with light silver hair with purple eyes and she's laying down on her stomach with her light blue bikini top part off and she has double H as the other one has light blue hair with brown eyes and also wearing light blue bikini as it hugging her H cup. They are Angel and Yukino and they are sisters, Angel being the older of the two and Yukino is the younger one as Yukino is putting oil on her sister's back. But they're 8 women who ain't everyday woman, because they in fact mermaids as the first one has freckles and a black and white striped tail. Her black wavy hair is arranged in 2 pigtails with flowery ribbons as her bikini top is hugging her double eye. Her name is Ishili. Oh, all this waiting is killing me. So much so that I could scream. Said Ishili, who seemingly can't wait. Another mermaid has yellow tail, with light hair and she's wearing a light yellow bikini as it hugging double eye, as she looking at Ishili and her name is Hiramara. Sarah has brown hair and has tail with 2 shades of purple as she wearing a yellow bikini with blue flowery straps on her double E as she says while wearing her headset, huh? What's going on? With a question look on her face. Maro has H long, flowing blue hair, with a yellow flower attached to the right side and blue eyes. She wears a revealing purple flower pattern bikini on her double G. Her fishtail has the color of pearl blue as she says, I wonder how the little ones will look like. Adele wild curly hair that reaches past her shoulders, and has dark skin and pink lipstick. She wears a bikini top with a leopard skin pattern as it barely holding back her double H, and her tail is red in color with several zigzag patterns. Well, for humans they will look like their parents, but with a human father and a mermaid mother, how would they look? She asked. Filin's clear blue almost white tail which has an agglomerations of white dot-like markings. Her pink somewhat frizzly hair opens wide as she wearing a red bikini as it hugging her double G. You do have a good question there, Adele, as she is now curious. Sora, who possesses long blonde hair, and light green tail as she has clam as her bikini and it's somehow holding back her double G. Is she thinking about it? Well, I hope they get beloved's kindness, said Sora. Then they notice that they're one missing. Yeah. What do you think, Madam Shiarly? Said all 7 mermaids. As the one called Shiarly says, who is the tallest mermaids? Maybe so, but they would also Naruto-kun boy's strength as well. Is she in fact on a chair? Is she a huge mermaid? Is she has a tail that of a mako shark? Is she wearing a light hoodie? Is it showing off her massive J cup? After all, that's how he won my heart, said Shiarly with a blush on her cheeks. Plus, if you are wondering what a child between a human and mermaid, you can just ask Kokura, said Shiarly as she still blushing, since she has a half human and half merfolk child after all, said Shiarly as another group of women walk in. Khalifa, who has blonde mid-short hair as she has pullback and she's wearing white with bubble one-piece bikini as it hugging her double F, those seals that our beloved Naruto-kun has made are a godsend. Demaria, who is also blonde hair, her wavy and cropped short as she wearing gold bikini as she has double H as she says, I forget you have eaten a devil fruit, it sucks that you can't swim in the sea. But that seal helps you, that is good. Samui, who is wearing gray bikini as it hugging her double J cup as she says, I found out that Naruto-kun is back and coming here in a bit, as she informing the ladies at the pool. Tatsuki, is she wearing a black with flames bikini with her double H being hugged by it? That's right. So I have to ask you girls to hold it until he hears the news, as she looking at all of them. Juvia, who has blue hair and midnight blue eyes, is she wearing blue bikini as it hugging her double F? Juvia don't know if she could hold it in, said Juvia. Hisui, who has dark green hair, is she wearing white bikini with her F hugged? I will help her out on that, said Hisui. Biska, who has long green hair, is she wearing dark red bikini to hold her G cup as she says, me too, since Juvia does lose a bit of control of herself when she sees Naruto-kun after all, said Biska with a smile on her. Flare, who has red hair with long twin tails, as she has a nervous look on her as she wearing a one-piece bikini as it shows her triple F as she says, I am nervous to see Naruto-kun again, as she blushing because she had her first time of having not that long ago. Jenny, with long blonde hair and shiny blue eyes, is she wearing a bikini with black and dark side with butterflies on them as she says, so, I have the feeling Naruto-kun finally had you screaming all night long during your first time, am I right? And Flare, who is blushing even more. Shaki, who has short black hair, as she smiles then says, Jenny, please leave Flare alone, after all, you were in the same as her when Naruto-kun had his way with you during your first time, as she wearing a dark purple with spiders on them bikini as it hugging her double I. Passa, with long darker shade of purple hair color, is she wearing blight white bikini hugging her double E as she has a figure of a danger, weren't we all Shaki? Hell, even I still blush at that memory. Vivi, who has long light blue hair, as she has double G with green bikini for her to wear, as she blushing badly as she remembers her first time with Naruto, oh that was a lot of fun, but I did get tired out like all of us, but he was so loving. Kana, who has midway brown hair, is she wearing her light pink bra and panties since she didn't have any bikini, it shows off her G cup as she says, he and I drank so bad that we end up having, and boy did he make me cum so many times, with a blush on her face. Pakura had dark green with orange bangs hair, as she has double G with a black with Suna's mark on the bikini, as she along with Tamari, who has sandy blonde hair with 4 ponytails and teal eyes, as she wearing sandy brown bikini with also Suna's mark on it, as she has double G, remember that they had with him. But they are going to change the subject like, oh I heard a group from Konoha are here, why are they here? Said Pakura as Tamari wonders about it herself. Robin says, oh them. Well they came and, she tells them of what happened at the throne room 6 days ago, and all of them get really angry of what Robin had told them. They're assholes. Demanding things from Naruto like they own him or something. Said the pissed Tamari, and so are the others, but it went away when they hear. Now ladies, just let it go alright. Said Naruto, who come up to them as he wearing just his shorts, and all of them yelled out, Naruto-kun. As Naruto smiles at them. Then a woman with long black wavy brown with light brown eyes as she has double eye wearing a bikini with flowers on them as she says. "Oh Naruto-kun, I have news for you," said the woman who named it Viola as she come up to him as do Samui and Tatsuki as they say together, "You too." And Naruto, "Well hold on to that cause, guards," said as he calls for the guards as they come up to him. "Bring the prisoners here, I have a message for their leaders." The guards nod and Naruto looks back at his girls and says, "Remember no saying my name." They nodded. "Good," said Naruto. A masked helmet from a seal that Naruto has on the table that Shiarly is at, and before he puts on, "Hey Shiarly-chan, how are you doing?" said Naruto with Shiarly blushing. "Good, just missing you," said Shiarly. "I know, and I will be seeing you today Shiarly," said Naruto, who put the masked helmet on as Shiarly blushing like crazy. "Anyway, have you girls seen Grafia?" said Naruto with the masked helmet on. Nami just notices that Grafia isn't here. "Wait, she was here. Where did she go?" said Nami, who wondering where Grafia went, but then, "Sorry everyone, I had to go to the restroom cause I'm not feeling well," said Grafia, who coming up to him. Which is Samui, Tatsuki and Viola somehow know why. "Are you okay Grafia?" said Naruto, who is worried about her. Kind of, I just been like this for a few days now, I just don't know why," said Grafia. Tatsuki says, "I think I know what is going on with Grafia cause it's something me and Samui went through 2 weeks ago," as Samui and Viola says, "Me too." Then that means, she stops herself as she looks at Tatsuki and Samui, who nod to her, and Naruto is confused. "What do you mean? What's going on?" said Naruto. "We're pregnant beloved." The three said to Naruto, and Samui says, "And so is Grafia." Naruto just stand there while all 4 pregnant ladies wait for Naruto to say something. Then he smiles with pure joy under the mask as he says, "That's amazing news. That means I'm going to be a father," said Naruto, who wanted to hug them right now, but however that had to wait as. "Emperor sir, we brought the prisoners," said the guard as Naruto nods and says, "We will resume this later." "Very well, bring them in," said Naruto as he goes in the pool along with his women of his harem. Within a few minutes the guards bring the Konoha group, and Naruto sees that all but one haven't been sleeping well for 6 days now as he says, "Now then, now it's time to decide on your fates," as Konoha group are shaking in fear. "Well, that would be the case, but however, holy shit, are those mermaids?" said Kiba, who can't believe it as it turns out mermaids are real as Sasuke say, "You idiot, those are not real mermaids, they might just be dressed up as mermaids." And when he said that, he gets a pair of swords at his neck as Naruto was about to talk, but Shiarly stops it. "Let me handle this beloved." She looks at Sasuke. "I might not know who you are, which I don't care, but I won't let you say such false things toward us. We are very much well, and if you call me again, I will bite your head off," said she. Shows her shark-like teeth toward Sasuke to show that she makes it very well. Kurenai says, "I'm very sorry. He's just a massive fool who believes that he's God or something. I'm Kurenai and you are." And Shiarly looks at her and says, "You are very polite," which is something that foolish humans should learn from. "My name is Shiarly, and yes, I am a mermaid, but a different type, like fish or different species." And like that she likes Kurenai. The emperor looked toward Kakashi as he says, "Now then, where was I?" "Oh yes, your fates," as Kakashi is praying to whatever that could hear to answer as he hears. "To have all of you return home and give this to your leaders," said Naruto as a guard hands out a scroll as Naruto, "Take that scroll and leave right away before I decide to kill all of you on the spot." "Well, not all of you," said Naruto. Kakashi releases a sigh of relief and nods his head and takes the scroll in hand, knowing only the leaders may read it. "Understood, and can someone get that bar off of Sakura's mouth please?" asked Kakashi. Naruto didn't answer as he says while looking at Kurenai, "How was your treatment in the prison, Miss Kurenai?" And Kurenai says, "It was great, but I don't understand why though." And Naruto answers, "You'll see when the time comes," was all he said as Kakashi asks again. Emperor sire, do you have someone?" Before he could finish, Sakura breaks free from the guard's hold and jumps toward the Emperor with her body getting fused of her chakra as she yells out in her mind, "Die you damn previous." As she about to punch toward Naruto, Emperor, but the pink-haired Kunoichi gets grabbed by Shiarly as she about to say, "Just what do you're doing?" She couldn't finish cause Sakura kicks Shiarly's face. Everyone gasped at that but Naruto, who is thinking, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that, Sakura, you just signed your death." And Sakura is thinking, "Let me go, you freak of nature." And that would be the last thing she thought of cause. Shiarly looks towards Sakura with anger in her eyes. The next thing Sakura knows is that there are sharp teeth are going into her neck and chest by a very pissed off shortfin Mako shark mermaid. And everyone from Konoha sees Shiarly rips the pieces Sakura she bit into with the look of horror on them as Naruto says, "Shiarly is a shortfin Mako shark mermaid, and your pink hair friend shouldn't have kicked her." She gets terrifyingly angry and well, you saw the result of Pinky's actions and the only way to avoid it is to apologize, said Naruto. Shiarly spits out the piece of the now deceased Sakura Haruno as she while covering her mouth in disgust. Yuck, what the hell was she even wearing, plus that was a nasty tasty, said Shiarly with disgust. Whoever this pink-haired person was, she tasted like cheap-ass perfume, and there is no meat in her at all. It's like that she always on a diet, said Shiarly as she wanted to wash this taste from her mouth away. Guards get the dead body sealed up and take them away and send them back to Konoha. Naruto ordered as the guards do as ordered while Kakashi can't believe that Sakura died even though a part of him is glad that she's gone. Time skip a week later, at Konoha. The group had appeared at the gate of Konoha. Konoha isn't what it used as everything seems to be falling apart and there's dark clouds covering the blue skies and blocking off the sun, and it's been like this for 8 years now. We're back and it wasn't pleasant at all and everything we had hoped for had went down the drain, said Kakashi as the others agreed as Kurenai says, all because the elders get in the way, right? As she just went off home. You guys head home, I will do the report as well, give the grim news about Sakura, said Kakashi as he knows that they are tired both physical and mentally. And like that, everyone went home or went somewhere else as Shikamaru is talking with Choji about something as he says, I don't know if anyone else noticed but I saw Tamari with them, as he wonders why she's at the Emperor's palace. Yeah, I saw her too. Do you think they are allies, and if so, who else? Asked Choji and Shikamaru says, I don't know but I finally found out why she stopped sending me messages last year. With Kurenai at the dango shop. Kurenai stops at the dango shop to talk with one of her female friends, with short purple hair and brown eyes as she wearing a coat with fishnet shirt as it shows off her G-cup and orange skirt. Really? They did that? Damn them all, said the purple hair as her name is Anko. You have no idea. Sigh, it's time like this we should just have killed them and be free from them for good, said Kurenai. Then they hear, did something happen? Said a woman with short light brown hair as she wearing black shirt as it hugging her triple F cup and silver skirt. She is a Yame who normally works at a ramen shop with her father but it's her days off. Meanwhile at the Hokage Tower. Tsunade looks at Kakashi and asks, so Kakashi, how was the mission? Even though she could tell that Kakashi has the look of bad news, the mission went badly, Lady Tsunade, said Kakashi as Tsunade placed her arms under her massive J-cup. What happened, Kakashi? Said Tsunade as she knows that she going drink hard after this, and like that Kakashi told that how it went from nice and easy to horrible, as it starts with the scroll that the elder had replaced hers with. What was heard around the village? They had the nerve to interfere the mission. That's extremely sensitive because the Emperor of the Dragon Empire is a hard man to please and WHO is known to destroy his enemies without a shred of mercy if he pissed enough to do it. Plus rumors have it he has dragons, phoenixes and giants in his army. Plus it is said he has walking cannons. Said the pissed off Tsunade as Kakashi doesn't know of what to do. And as if it wasn't bad enough, the door opens up and three elderly people come in. They see that Kakashi had returned from the mission, so was the mission a success? Asked Danzo as the other two say, of course it must have, since who won't have the Uchiha to be the next heir to the throne, said the elderly man with glasses, and the elderly woman says, or that he would gladly let his empress to be married to Sasuke Uchiha, as all three of them doesn't know that it went badly because of what they did. The next thing the elders know is the desk of the Hokage flew right past them, embedding itself into the wall. Do you three have any idea of what you just done? Because your interferences with your forsake offers. The Emperor of the Dragon Empire is enraged, said the pissed off Tsunade, who's about to kill them right now. What do you mean? It should have been foolproof, said the elderly man. I agree, Sasuke would been a very good heir to the throne, said Danzo, and the elderly woman. That's right. I just don't understand why anyone would have someone like Sasuke to have, said. Then you don't know the Emperor at all. The man who united the whole West together doesn't care about who Sasuke is or where he comes from, said Kakashi as he remembers the stories that he heard when he was at the West. And what's more, I have another thing else to report in and give you something, Lady Tsunade, said Kakashi. Tsunade says, what do you mean you have other report? Did something happen? As she feels for some reason, a heavy feeling on her. Yes, and it's about my old student, Sakura Haruno, said Kakashi as the image of how Sakura died plays in his mind. She tried to attack the Emperor, and one of his women, who is a mermaid, a shortfin mako shark mermaid to be exact, grabbed her, and Sakura was foolish enough to kick her, which did not end well. The mermaid took a good chunk out of her, killing her. As he said that, he pulled out the scroll with Sakura's body and unsealed the body, and they saw what he meant. It seems mermaids are real and live in the West. Tsunade looks at the likeness body of Sakura as she looks at the elders. This is the result of your so great plan. A young Kunoichi is dead because of your three, said Tsunade, who getting more angry while the elders just don't know what to feel about this. Then Kakashi takes out the scroll that he was given to and hands it to Tsunade. This what I was told to give this to you, said Kakashi, and Tsunade grabs it. Tsunade unrolls the scroll and sees a seal, and she unseals a shell with instructions. She reads the instructions, then she presses a button and a message begins to play. Greetings Hokage, if you are listening to this, then the ninja I gave the scroll to has done his job and gave it to you. Now down to business. Thanks to your idiot elders, they have brought war to your land because they think that they can order me, an emperor, and someone who is not even under their command. Let me put it this way, I am in charge of my empire, I choose my heir, no one else. You have just brought a dragon's rage down on all of you. Prepare to hear the dragon's roar. Now another thing, this message has written itself on another piece of paper because this will blow itself up. So yours truly, the Emperor of the Dragon Empire, have a nice day, cause it will be your last. At that, Tsunade opened the window and threw the shell out, and it exploded in the air with a resounding boom, and everyone near the explosion had ducked by the sound of it. Once it was over, Tsunade looks out of the window then to the elders with a look of absolute horror and anger. I want you three out, said Tsunade in a low-tone voice. We have the right to be here, said the elderly man, but then Tsunade snaps, you get the out of here. Because you three we at war with the Empire, yelled Tsunade as she's no mood to hear any back talk from them, so she throws them out of the room. She goes back to her seat and is not happy at all. Kakashi, can you tell me what kind of women the Emperor has and who the Empress is, please? And Kakashi says that he couldn't tell who was the Empresses at all, but he did informs her of the woman he had seen with the Emperor. I see. Kakashi, you are dismissed, and tell everyone, and I do mean everyone, not to disturb me, even Shizune, said Tsunade as Kakashi says, you understood, and he leaves the room. And once the door is closed, Tsunade gets up and locks it, then goes toward her stash of sake and other alcohol, cause she doesn't know how to tell everyone that war is coming, and it's coming in a form of a dragon. Somewhere in Konoha. Wait, Sakura is dead, by some shark mermaid lady, said a girl with long platinum blonde hair as she takes it in a long pony as a bang covering her right eye slightly, as her eyes are light blue, as she wearing a purple short shirt that's covering on her chest, which is double F, and purple skirt. Her name is Ino Yamanaka. Yeah, no kidding. Who would have thought, but then again she kinda had it coming for trying attack a emperor of an empire after all because she didn't approve of what the women are wearing, since they were okay wearing them, said a girl with brown. Is she has it in a bun hairstyle? Is she wearing white Chinese style shirt? Is it hiding her chest in red pants? Her name is Tenten. And other girl in the group, is she has long ink blue hair and white eyes? Is she wearing a heavily jacket of lavender and white? Is it hiding her figure in blue pants? Her name is Hinata Hyuga, and she's thinking, good riddance if you ask me, as she says, what's going to happen now? As she worried. That is question that's all of us are wondering about, hearing of what happened, we can only it doesn't start a war, said a guy who wearing a jacket with a hood which he has it on and a shirt with a tail collar. Is it covering his mouth and he's wearing dark sunglasses? He is Shino. Shikamaru says, I hope so too, but that's not the only thing. I saw Tamari there. I don't know why, but she's was there with the emperor. Maybe she's working on getting an alliance for Suna, and that's why she hasn't sent me any messages for the past year, as he thinks that's the case. But then, or maybe she's sleeping with him, said a guy with pale skin. Is he wearing short black and gray jacket with red straps, and he doesn't show much emotion when he said that, and Shikamaru snaps at Sai. There's no way she would do that. This is Tamari we're talking about. She won't spread her legs for something like that for getting an alliance, said Shikamaru. Well, it might be a possibility. Think about it, Shikamaru. She stopped sending you messages for a year now, and she might even marry him for an alliance, said Tenten, as everyone agreed to that. And this makes Shikamaru angry cause he knows that Tamari won't do that, would she? Time skip. At the Dragon Empire, night time. In the palace of the Emperor, there's an intense moment between Naruto and Shiarly in the Emperor's bedroom. Naruto is laying down on his bed as he being held onto by Tamari on his left and Shiarly to his right as he says, that was amazing, but now time to sleep, cause I have a war to prepare for. As he falls asleep. It's noon and right now at the palace of the Empire, there's a meeting being held. Naruto and the leaders in his empire are in the meeting room. Today I have some announcements. First, please welcome Amazon Lily to the Empire. When he said that, people cheered and Hancock stood up and bowed. The next thing on the list is war is coming. Konoha's elders have tried to pull some shit and I have the list. As Naruto read the list, more and more people started chanting, war, and here it is, the scroll that holds their demands, said Naruto as he throws the scroll that the Konoha group left behind, and so each of them read it. They become furious about it. Now then, on to the last one of the announcements. Riku, my old friend, you're going to have another grandkid, said Naruto, and the king of Dressrosa heard this. He was shocked, then he had a very bright smile with tears falling down. Another reason why I called you here is there are some people in Konoha I do care about. They are my friends, they are to be left alone. Now Konoha has thrown the first punch doing that, but they have already lost someone. One of them that came for the alliance talks has died. She tried to hit me but Shiarly stopped but made a mistake of kicking her face. And that just made Shiarly angry and took a bit out of her. Now we are going to war. Are you with me? Said Naruto, waiting for the answers. The first one to stood up as he says, you helped me through my time of imprisonment because I had stand up to the overlord were killing the people of my home village, so I'm with you. Said a man who has brown hair with a scar across his face, standing in 6 feet 2, wearing with black shirt with camo pants and combat boots. His name is Damien. As one by one stand up as they yelling out, I'm with you. A man with red hair with a 3 scar on his eye as he losing a arm. I'm with ya lad, me and my boys will do anything for you after you saved us from that pet beast of that belonged to bastard overlord of the sea, said as his name is Shanks, aka red-haired Shanks. You helped me see true justice to the world and stopped the undying hatred between of the pirates and marines, as well the hatred between humans and Fizmen alike, and saving me from the corruption within me, count me in as well. Said a tall man with a scar on his neck as his name is Akainu. As a towering man with a beard of white stands up and says, you saved my life and got me back to good health, you even dealt with Teach, I will follow you to battle even into the pits of hell itself, said the man known as Whitebeard. A man named Kaido says, who is way bigger than Whitebeard, you showed me that there's more to life than trying find a way die, you taught me that I can live my to the fullest. I will follow you and bring down anything that gets in your way. Naruto smiled hearing that everyone supports him in this war and says, remember, if someone surrenders, capture them, don't kill them, we might have some use for them, and if you guys had happened to found some busty beauties, well, bring them to my tent, and soon I am sending a list with names and faces to all of you to keep them alive, but I want no one in the red light district to be harmed of anything they watch out for each other. Hell, that is where I grew up, so I will give them new homes when it's over, and yes, even Sasuke is one of them. I want see his reaction from learning that his twin is my wife. Now when you return home, gather some of your armies and the giants, I think we will need them, so prepare for war. He shouted that last part with raising his fist to the sky, and his allies did the same, some raised weapons cheering for war. And once that was over with, Naruto informs them that they will leaving within a month, and they agreed to it as they know there will be hell for Konoha. With that, the meeting was over and everyone began leaving the room, but not without telling Naruto, congrats, of him becoming a father. Until the only ones are Naruto, Boa Hancock, Salvarla and King Riku, Reiju as they come up to him, and Salvarla, who is a woman with long silver hair, as she wearing army-style uniform, is it hugging her massive double eye, Your Highness, should I inform both Sunas and Haru no Kuni's leaders? Asked Selvaria. Yes, tell them, said Naruto as King Riku hugs him tightly, thank you for making my daughter Viola so happy. Said King Riku with Naruto, you're welcome and I will keep doing so. Said as King Riku as he says, because if you didn't, you would be a dead man, and like that he leaves the room. Reiju with her pink hair as she wearing a white shirt with 66 on it as it hugging her double G with pink pants as she says, when will it be my turn, Naruto-kun, said Reiju who lay against Naruto. Naruto grabs her ass and she moans and he says to her, tonight my bed I will claim you as mine and Selvaria-chan will join us. They both blushed upon hearing that. And so both of them leave while waving toward Naruto as they looking forward tonight. Bod Hancock comes up to Naruto as she has something to ask him. Naruto, I have something to ask you, said Hancock as Naruto looks at her and says, sure, what is it? So Hancock tells him what's going on, with that, which is that she has been feeling odd lately, and it all started a day after he and her had for the first time, and she doesn't understand why. Naruto smiles at her and says, I'm guessing you don't know about the effects of being pregnant, Hancock, as Hancock is shocked about it and says, I thought that bird is where babies come from. As Naruto laughs a bit as he now has to give her the talk of where babies truly comes from. But first he has to call a man named Frankie, who is one of the head builders. I need to ask him on the states of the new weapons, said Naruto. With Konoha at this time, outside of the Hokage Tower. Everyone are standing outside of the tower of the Hokage as everyone are wondering of what is going on and why is everyone are here. Everyone, I need your attention because this unbelievably important that all of you need to know, yelled Tsunade who's appeared on the top of the tower. And everyone began to wonder anew as Tsunade yells out, with a heavy heart, is that I have to tell that war is coming. I fear the worst of that we will be facing the Dragon Empire because the mistakes of old fools that we have to pay the price. Said Tsunade. Everyone is in shock finding out that they are going to war with the Dragon Empire. As Tsunade, so we need to be prepared, but I fear that won't be enough, said Tsunade. We have no allies to help us fight the Empire, we are fighting an enemy with top technology and probably have giants on their side. Said Tsunade as she knows that doom is coming to Konoha and no one could help, so she heads inside and drink. Time skip into the afternoon around 4 or 5. Tsunade is looking out the window to view the village on her chair with a bottle in hand. She keeps looking out until she hears, so I heard of what is going to happen, said a voice of a man, as he hears a long white hair with strikes as he wearing green short shirt kimono and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that is visible at his wrists and ankles. He also wore hand guards, a black belt, traditional Japanese wooden sandals, and a red haori with 2 yellow circles on each side. He often carried a large scroll on his back, and had a tattoo on his left palm, and he wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil. He is Jiraiya, who is a Sanin and Tsunade's old teammate back in they days. That's right, Jiraiya, said Tsunade as she takes a big slip of her bottom of sake and asked for, did you found any trace of Naruto? Please, I need somewhat good news, said Tsunade, who is getting drunk by the sake. I am sorry, Haim, it is like he vanished off the face of the earth, I can't find him. But I think he might be hiding real well. I'm sorry, Haim, said Jiraiya. Sigh, I don't blame him since their bind former civilians councils place him to death, but you and me both know that he's alive since his body wasn't at the scene where we found their dead Chunins and the broken headband that belonged to Naruto, said Tsunade, who takes a swig from her bottle again. Haim, my search for Naruto will be on hold because I'm going to the Empire and out they plans, said Jiraiya, and from hearing that, Tsunade drops her bottle and says, no, I forbid it. They will kill you on the spot, said Tsunade. Haim, if I don't, then we don't know what to expect, I have to do this. You can't stop me, Haim, I have to find out what they got, said Jiraiya, who right away leaves the room through the window before Tsunade could say anything to stop him. Back at the Dragon Empire hangar, Naruto is talking toward a man with light blue as he wearing only a shirt and underwear. So Frankie, how are the all-terrain tanks coming along? They have been tested, yet we need them for the war. They are coming along super. Yes, they have been tested, they can carry about 50 soldiers and the gunships can carry them. The tank's treads will hold onto a mountain at any angle degree. The treads will also change while they are on water so they can be used on the seas, land, mountains, desert and any other terrain we can think up. They run on that power you discovered. That is powerful, explained Frankie, the shipwright for the Straw Hats. Naruto nods. How many do we have right now? We have about 50 units and more on the way, said Frankie. With that, Naruto smiled more. That's good. Now then, I will leave you to your work then, Frankie. Oh, and Frankie, don't forget the secret project, the next step of terrain weapons, said Naruto as he leaves the hangar. 3 hours later, Naruto's bedroom. Naruto is on his bed as he waiting for Reiju and Solaria to enter his room, which they did as the door opens by them and walk in the room, both wearing see-through nightgowns. Salvaria's is black and Reiju's is pink. Sorry for taking you waiting, Naruto-kun, said Reiju as she and Salvaria see that Naruto isn't wearing anything, and Naruto says, it's okay, now then let the fun begin, with a smile as both ladies walk up to him and get on his bed. I love my life, I'm the emperor and surrounded by gorgeous goddess in mortal skin, and like that he's went to take a bath, as he wonders who will he encounter there. A week later, Jiraiya appeared on the roof of the palace of the Dragon Empire, and it was a pain for him cause there's tons of guards around the whole city, so he had to stay in the shadows as the best as he could. Alright, I go in, get the plans of the empire and make a run for it with them, like that Konoha would have a fighting chance. I just hope that I don't find any surprises here, said the thoughts of Jiraiya, who cuts the windows but makes sure that it doesn't fall down breaks as it would seriously alerted everyone. So he makes his entrance big enough him to get in and out without any problems, so he went in quietly, as he looking around carefully while walking. As he keeps going, he hears something down the hallway that he's at. He hears a Spanish guitar and heels clacking on the ground, so the more he gets closer to it, the more louder it became. Until he appears the door and he opens just a bit, and sees which it would cause him have a nosebleed. He was seeing a lot of women in bikinis and 2 were sitting on thrones and the middle was empty and panels in the floor were open and there's water in it with 8 women and one of them is tall in that water and 3 dragons in the room. And he noticed there 2 women who are in dress dancing the flamenco, making them look unbelievably sexy as they keeps dancing to the music, but he couldn't tell of the second dancer, but he could tell of the other one who is wearing a white dress with purple polka dots. The same dress when she is introduced. And Jiraiya decide that he has a good few minutes, so he starts writing down, I couldn't tell of the second dancer, but the one with the white dress with the purple polka dots is completely perfect. This will make my next book that of legends. This is too good to be true, said the thoughts of Jiraiya, who keeps writing down on his notes, but he hasn't noticed that there's someone behind him and he's not happy. The next thing Jiraiya knows is that someone grabs his head and smashes it against the ground hard. Everyone in the throne room heard a boom, and the same person grabs the notebook and cuffs his hands, cutting off his chakra. Well now, of all the people they could have sent to spy or steal any plans, they had sent the super pervert, or as I used to like to call him, pervy sage, said a voice that somehow sounds familiar to Jiraiya. Even the voice sounds a older version of someone he knows. And so Jiraiya and sees well the 13-year-old version of Naruto as he smiles brightly as it fades away to his now much older self with a scar on his left eye. And Jiraiya says, "And Naruto? Is that you?" As he feeling like that he's looking at a ghost. "No, it's the ghost of 4th Hokage, of course it's me, you idiot," yelled Naruto as Jiraiya notices the clothes that he's wearing and pieced it together. "Wait, don't tell me that you're the emperor," said Jiraiya, and Naruto doesn't answer as he goes to him and drags him inside of the throne room and throws him downward and sits onto his throne and sits on it. With the girls who are not on thrones surround him, and the two dancers sit on his lap and they grab his hands on, puts them on there, which he gives a squeeze, and they moan in delight. Does this answer your question? Now then, as I know why you are here, pervy sage, so what should I do to you? Said Naruto as he starts thinking, as his ladies are thinking along with him while the dragons are looking toward him with smoke slowly coming out of their noses. Naruto then throws the notebook in the air and the dragons blast it with flames, destroying the book. Jiraiya doesn't care about his notebook getting destroyed, since there's something else that he cares more about, even his own books, and that is, Naruto, please return to the village and call off the war. Konoha is your hoe. Konoha is no longer my home. After everything I did for that pathetic place, the alliances with Spring, Waterfall and others. That stupid council, after I brought their back, after he shoved a lightning-covered hand through my chest twice, they sentenced me to die. Then the elders had the audacity to demand that the same become my heir to the throne. They started this war, not me, but did they care? No. Naruto ranted, and as it was going on his whisker marks got darker and he was becoming more feral until Viola, Tamari and Charlie kissed him too on the cheeks and Viola on the mouth, calming him down. And once he calmed down, he looked at all of his girls with love in his eyes. Plus, why would I want to go back? I am living in the lap of luxury. I am rich as hell, the love of these women, even if 8 are mermaids. I am surrounded by every pervert's dream, much like you, and I love my life. I love my women who are goddesses from the heavens, and they are to be my wives, who, if you put in your book, I will castrate you with a very rusty knife with. So I ask again, why should I go back to Konoha? Soon the women there will be mine, and the people of the red light district will have better lives. Explained Naruto. But Naruto didn't let him say anything. By, you know what? I don't care, but however, since you saw my face and letting you leave would ruin the big surprise that I have planned for Konoha, so I will imprison you, but small won't do. Well, not on you, since you are a Sanin after all, so why not have you go something that's fitting someone of your states? By that I mean you being a super pervert. Yes, I will send you to that place, Okama Island. And upon hearing that, all Naruto's ladies gasp at it. No, Naruto-kun, he won't able to last a day there, said one of them, as they think that it's too much. But then again, girls, he peeps on women in the hot springs and uses them in his perverted book and makes millions on them, with none of them ever get paid. Plus his chakra will be sealed, said Naruto, as Jiraiya, who wondering about this Okama Island place is, and why are they making it sound so bad. And like that all the ladies agreed, and then Naruto calls his guards and informs him of where Jiraiya is going, as well placing the chakra block seals on his back, as one of the guards say, "You poor unfortunate bastard, you better have any photos on you, cause you will be in hell," said the guard. As Jiraiya gets drags away, he yells out to Naruto, "Wait, Naruto, don't do this. Think about the third. He won't want you to do this." And like that the doors gets closed away as Jiraiya is off toward where his fate is sealed. Then the throne room doors open again, but this time there are women walking in. Musubi, who has a brown hair with small ponytail, and she's huge double G's, is she wearing a light pink bikini with some kind of a bird with yin and yang symbol under it. Tsukiyomi, as she has long blonde hair and wearing a black bikini as it holding her massive double H, but she has a bit of a anger look on her. Mai, who has long brown hair and wearing a red bikini to show off her G-cup. Chun-Li, who has brown hair as she has bum hairstyle, is she wearing blue bikini as she has F but her very huge ass and very thick thugs. Ty Lee, who has dark brown hair as she's very cheerful as she jumping around, as she has a nice figure with double F along with white with bit of pink bikin. Yu, as she has black hair and she makes it short and is double F with dark green bikini. Suki with short brown hair and wearing a light green bikini to show off her double E. Jewelry Bonnie with long pink hair as she wearing white bikini top and brown bottom as the bikini is holding her triple E. Mia, who is smiling as she and the others are going to have a good time as she has long light purple hair and wearing her light purple bikini to show off her E. Paula has puffy blue hair as she wearing dark brown bikini with her double F bouncing for each step she takes. Domino with her long, wavy blonde hair, and a pair of sunglasses as she wearing her white bikini top and black bottom and her double E. Koala, who has short orange hair as she massive double H as she wearing a dark orange bikini as she waving toward Robin, who waves back. Yoruichi, as she dark skin and dark hair as she's nothing at all as her double G bouncing lovely. Tia Harabelle, with short blonde hair and blue marks on her cheek as she wearing white bikini to hold back her double I. Kukaku with black spiky hair as she wearing red bikini as her eye cup bounce as she walks in a fake arm. Hana with a long back hair and she has it double braid in front of her as she wearing a one-piece bikini as it hugging her double H as she smiling. Azane is a tall woman with silver hair and huge double I as she wearing a very that in fact Hana picked out for her as she saying to herself, "This is too much for me," with a dark blush on her. Koyuki with her smooth black and blue eyes is wearing a light gray bikini as she has size of G. Irene, who is the mother of Urza Scalet with her long red hair as she wearing crimson red two-piece bikini as her double J bouncing like crazy. Lucy with her midway blonde as she wearing a white with pink flowers on as she has large double G. Layla, who is Lucy's mother, is walking by side her as she too has blonde hair but her are much bigger at her double J's and she's wearing the same thing but the colors are in reversed. Ultir with her dark purple and red eyes, she wearing her half white and black bikini with her double G bouncing lightly. Aquarius, after she had found out her boyfriend cheated on her, it was Naruto who had helped her through the pain of it and then after a while they started to date, she wearing her normal bikini top on as she has of double H. Libra with dark hair tied in an ox horn style as she's just her dancer's outfit since they kinda are a bikini as she has H cup. Virgo, her short pink hair and dark blue eyes as she isn't showing much well anything on her face, she's wearing well her maid outfit and cuffs on her wrists as her maid outfit is hugging her E. Aries, who has white bikini with her massive double H as she has pink hair with horns on her side of her side as she giving off a shy-like aura around her. Naruto-kun, who was that being dragged away screaming? Asked Layla. Layla-chan, that was a very perverted sage and he is heading to Okama Island, ha 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 ha, said Naruto. The new arrivals looked shocked that Naruto would send someone there. Yeah, he kinda had it coming since he always peeks on woman in hot springs, mind you, so yeah, said Naruto, and like they agreed that it's fitting for Jiraiya. Time skip a month later. At the Wall, land of Earth. Here at the Wall that borders both the West are known as the Dragon Empire and the Elemental Countries, it had stand there for uncounted years, that is until today. A part of the wall got destroyed, showing a massive hole, thus allowing an army and their weapons to come through it and many other things. They began setting up camp as they based of operation, with Naruto walking with his mask on while his second-in-command reporting in of the soldiers, the weapons, food and many other things. That's it, I have reported, sire. Soon we will have Eve. He gets cuts off. You guys ain't doing this by yourselves, I won't allow it, said Naruto as he goes helps out his men to set up everything. After a while of setting up everything, and Naruto says, "Good job everyone, now then we should begin planning." Before he could finish of what he's going to say. Who are all of you and what are you doing on Iwa territory? Damned, an old man who is very short and has a huge nose, and what's more he's floating in the air like he's flying as he followed by a huge group of ninjas with stone marks on their headbands. Naruto sees this and he walks up to him as he thinking that this old man is very rude. If you must know, I'm the Emperor of the Dragon Empire, the West if you want to know, and we are her, and once again he gets cuts off by the old man. I don't care where you're from, I'm third Tsuchikage, Onoki, and I want all of you off of Iwa's territory as well, my land. And if you don't as I say, you will face the wrath of the whole Iwa ninja. Said Onoki, who doesn't know what he just did, cause if he didn't cuts off Naruto like that. Naruto has had enough of this, lets out a whistle. The army of the empire knows what is happening and the Tsuchikage and his ninjas are confused. What was that for to scare us? R-O-O-O-O-O-O-A-A-A-A-A-A-R. He was cut off by 3 powerful roars and the dragons land behind their father, and then he finishes but with a higher pitch in his voice, off. Since you had the nerve to come here and interrupt the invasion that my people work so hard to come up with, and not only that, you did it again when I was trying to introduce myself and my empire, so I will say to my man, do you guys want to warm up? If so, let's take over Iwa right now, said Naruto as he waits for his army to answer. And the army of the Dragon Empire cheered, and like that, Iwa is doomed as Onoki realizes this and says, what have I done? As he and the Iwa ninjas see a massive army began their charge and they don't have enough manpower for this size. One day later, land of Earth, Iwagakure. Naruto is standing of the ruins that is or was Iwagakure as the soldiers are gathering up the civilians of the Iwagakure, but with great care, as people who are so tall that they are called titans, and they are catching any ninjas that were planning to get away but failed since they got caught after all. Naruto looks next to him as he looks upon the fallen Tsuchikage Onoki in chains as it has seals that drains chakras away. If there's one thing if you learn about me Tsuchikage, is that I really hate rude people, but don't worry, I won't hurt your civilians and their families well unless they give me reason to, said Naruto as he sees the soldier taking every books, scrolls that holds jutsus and so on. And you know, I was just planning just go to war on Konoha, but no thanks to you, I decided to just take over the whole elemental countries, said Naruto as he keeps looking at the broken old man. Now then, what should I do with you? I could kill you, but then again that would make it too easy, and that I don't think your granddaughter won't like that though, said Naruto. Onoki looked shocked when he heard that. What the hell are you on about? What are you planning to do with Kuretsuchi? Said the angry Onoki as he would kill Naruto on the spot if he wasn't chained down. Oh, nothing really, just going to make her mine, said Naruto. And Onoki is shocked about this, but that shock turned into pure anger. Don't you dare touch, you bastard. I will kill you. Before he finished that, one of Naruto's dragons land behind him, and Onoki is too afraid to look back. But then again, I would never tell her what happened to you, since you're about to become Sapphire's meal, and just like that, Sapphire eats Onoki whole as he unable to scream as he being eaten alive. Naruto walks back toward the campsite as he one more thing to do before moving on. At the campsite, Naruto appeared back with his soldier facing toward the wall and says, for many countless years, this wall was stood to block off the west because the people of the elemental countries were too afraid. So they built this wall as it withstand for many years, until today. Now then, man, witness a new era for our empire. With witness the start of the end of the elemental countries. Yelled Naruto as everyone hears, boom mmm. Loud explosions. The gigantic wall that separated the east and west was finally coming down. After all these years it has finally come down. As a massive cloud dust forms around the area, and everyone covers their faces, but it didn't last long as the dust cloud fades and everyone sees massive walking machines with the marks of the empire on the sides of this massive machines. As Naruto says, this will be the key to their end. Men, these are our weapons, this is our all-terrain tanks, as the soldiers of the Dragon Empire as the all-terrain tanks as they wall as the wall itself, as it walking on 4 legs with weapons of 4 massive cannons on its back. The days of the elemental countries are numbered, as the wrath of the Dragon Empire is just the beginning. D. Holy damn. Blaze, that was something. P. Yup, Iwa has fallen. And Jiraiya is in a lot of trouble now. D. But how much? Let's find out. Time for Omake. Rise of the Dragon Empire. Naruto the Conqueror. Chapter Omake. Jiraiya's fate. It's been days since Jiraiya found that Naruto is the emperor of the empire and got imprisoned. Now he had being sent to a place called Okama Island even though he doesn't know why, and why all the male guard are feeling sorry for him as well, telling him about having photo of sexy and beautiful woman. And Jiraiya doesn't know where he's going as the ship driver asks one the guard, "I don't know about you but this guy won't make it on that island," said the driver of the ship. And that's when Jiraiya had enough and asked, "Just where are you taking me? And what's so bad about this Okama Island anyway?" said Jiraiya. The helmsman looks at him and says, "You will see." 40 minutes later, at Okama Island, the ship hits land on the beach of Okama Island and the guard pushed Jiraiya off of the ship but not before they look at him and say, "Welcome to your worst nightmare, and within a day, you will wish that you were dead," said the guard, and like that the ship begins moving away slowly as Jiraiya. "Also you are the one Naruto boy told me about, the super pervert. Well, welcome to Okama Island," said a voice in Jiraiya and sees a tall person, who seems to be wearing woman's clothing and has a huge face and purple hair with eyeshadow and has a skull tattoo on his chest, and his name is, "I'm Emporio Ivankov, the king of Okama Island," said as he goes into a pose, and Jiraiya is looked up confused about this. Okay. I'm Jiraiya of the Three Sannin, and for a while now I was curious about this island and everyone are saying that it's worse than hell or something, but now I didn't know what I was expecting," said Jiraiya. But then Jiraiya notices a person not that far away, and by the looking of the dress, Jiraiya thinks that it's a woman, so he walks up to her and Ivankov sees this and says, "Oh, he just ignores me," so he walks away to inform Naruto that Jiraiya had arrived. Jiraiya come up to the woman and says, "Hey there, I'm Jiraiya, I'm new here and I would like someone Lee." Before he finished, the woman turns around and shows a hardcore hideous face that made Jiraiya cries as his feels his heart turn to stone and breaks as the woman says, "Oh, a handsome man. Ladies, there's a new man on the island." And when she did that, Jiraiya sees a huge group of women who are also so hideous and he just doesn't want to face them at all. He starts running away from them with cries running down from his eyes as he yells out, "What is this place?" With the group of women going after him as they want him badly. With Naruto. Naruto looks at Shiarly, who has a positive pregnancy test. "You are pregnant, that is wonderful news, Shiarly-chan." He pulls her into a hug and kiss while groping one of her when he hears pura 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 click as Naruto picks up the speaker of the Den Den Mushi, Moshi Moshi. Naruto boy, Jiraiya boy has arrived and he has figured out why the guards wished him luck on my island. Said Emporio on the other end. "Good, the seals will not let him leave unless I or the guards remove it, and it will not let him die. Also turn him into a female if you wish a little payback for all the women he has peeped on over the years," said Naruto with his hand giving Shiarly's giving it a squeeze and she held in a moan while blushing. "Well, I will do that when I have nothing else to do. Well, I will report later on, Jiraiya boy. Bye bye Naruto boy," said Emporio as he ends the call. Naruto hangs and turns back to Shiarly and asked, "Now where were we?" They started making out and Naruto had a hand on her and the other one was wrapped around her waist.